That is how you get logged in. So I'm going to log back in to that firm. Okay, back in the firm, we have 3 clients as I mentioned, and now I'm just going to show you what's in here and then we'll get into the Pro Advisor profile. I really want you to leverage all this free stuff that Intuit gives you when you sign up for the Pro Advisor program, and a lot of time this sits dormant for a lot of accounting pros because they don't really have the time to go explore, or once they do explore and find something, they get a little confused. Should I do this first? Should I do that first? So that's exactly what this video is all about. So first of all, when you first land in your QBOA, QuickBooks Online Accountant, you're going to be on the Clients tab. All your clients are listed there. There's ways to customize this screen. You could add the email, payroll alerts, tax returns, whatever it is you wish to see. If you have a lot of clients, you can also expand this list, or grid is what it's officially called, to 300 rows. Show inactive, and make the changes you need. So all I care about is, I'm not a tax preparer. If you are, you can add these columns, but I'm going to eliminate those, and I'm going to just have banking and payroll alerts. So with my QBO clients that have banking and or payroll, I get alerts right on the screen. This gear is called the grid gear. You're going to see it all over QuickBooks Online. Anytime you're looking at what I would call a list, you're actually looking at a table or a grid in the database, and this gear allows you to customize it. So you can add or remove columns, customize it for what you need. Okay, so this is basically our client list. The overview allows us to see all clients. Bookkeeping would filter it just to bookkeeping clients, and then of course this is a pretty new tab here. The payroll tab would just be QuickBooks Online Payroll clients. So QuickBooks Online Payroll can be a standalone offering, or it can be integrated with QuickBooks and another QuickBooks Online subscription. Looks to me like we just have the one QBO client and 2 others which we're doing some other sort of services for, and that's basically it. There are filters here. Not a lot going on with this grid right now. Hopefully your grid is going to fill up with hundreds of clients. So that's our goal for you. So we really want that to happen. If for some reason you need to add a client, this should have been in your training. You can click Add Client, and you can actually add a QuickBooks subscription to your client list if you like. So now we've kind of navigated the Client tab. We are going to focus on your practice. The next thing I want to talk about is your team. Now, I know some of you are just starting out. This might be a little bit, hey, I don't need that just yet, but I do want to talk about your team and what this means. At this point, this firm has 1 user. When a client invites a firm to their QuickBooks Online, they're inviting the firm, which means Betty might get the email, but when Betty starts growing and she has additional team members at her accounting firm or her bookkeeping firm, she can add them to this list without any charge. It's no extra per user charge, have as many team members in her firm as she wants, and then once she starts adding them and clients, she could say, oh, I want this team member to work on this client. So when the actual team member logs in, they would only see a list of their clients. Betty, as the primary admin of this firm, would see all clients. So I'm going to go back to team and just show you when you add a user, and I'm sure you all saw this during certification, you can add them, but once you get to step 3, or gives Betty the opportunity to invite the new team user to certain clients, not everybody. Also, do you want this team user to have access to the firm's accounting, which I'll talk about in a minute. So manage your team here. The Pro Advisor tab we covered a little bit in the last webinar, well, a lot in the last video. Basically, Betty only has 75 points. She can move her way up to the top tier, which is Elite, by adding clients and doing other things, and we covered that in the last video. The training is here. Also talked about that. So, oh, we have a blocked third-party app. Here it is. This can happen, by the way, when you're taking your exam and other things. So you need to click here and allow cookies. So now this should refresh, and now I'll be able to get to my training. So again, if you're not seeing it, you might get a little, now in Google it looked like that, in another browser it might look a little different. Okay, so that is all free. So far everything's free. Let's go to the work area in QuickBooks Online Accountant. What this does is basically allows you to schedule projects, different things you need to get done. So they're doing a little pop-up here saying get rid of those stickies, and so we can set up a initial task for your firm or for a client. You can these are projects. So let's just say my firm and hit go. So basically what this is doing, it's allowing me to set up projects and tasks for different things I need to get done. Right now I've got there's some information here. It added a project for me. This is a task within a project, and this is actually the project. And how do I know that? Well, I am 0 of 4 steps through this project. If I finish gather statements and mark it as done, you can see I'm a quarter of the way through this project. Reconcile accounts, let's say done, been there, done that, halfway done. Produce reports and meet with the client. So I can mark the entire project as done, and it's off my list. So how did I do that? Or how did QuickBooks do that? They did that for me, right? Let's do a manual one, create a project. And in here, I'm going to have you guys either choose from a template or set up one from scratch. And just a quick reminder, it is perfectly okay when we're doing these setups and different things like this to pause the video and follow along with me. You should have this work tab already there so we can create this project together. So the project that I want to go over are your setup tasks for your firm. Set up your business. And this task is not for a client, it's for your firm, and then you just choose the date you want to have this done. And then within that, we're going to do tasks. So what is it that we need to get done? And I'll show you a few of these in a minute. So let's say the first task we're going to do is set up account or company settings. And basically what that is your address right, is your phone number right, that kind of thing. So we want to have that done by tomorrow. You can add details to that, and then we could keep going with another task. Get profile picture. And then we'll put a due date on that. That might take a little longer, so I'll give us the end of the week to get that done. Now I'm going to hit save and save this project. Basically it's added, yeah, cool, first project. My project's due the 31st, but I have 2 tasks due this week, and this is keeping track of it for me. So this is really nice. We'll continue to add more tasks to this project, but we're setting up our business right now, and that's what we want to do. Just really quick, manage templates. This Intuit gives us some templates that we can use for our clients, monthly bookkeeping, client onboarding. You don't have to use these, but you could absolutely make a copy of it and customize it for yourself, or use it and create the project. Here we go. So client onboarding, onboard client is the name of the project. The template is client onboarding. This is for Beth. Maybe we need to set her up. We can make it a repeater. Probably not. This means it would repeat every month or every week. Onboarding a client should just happen the one time, right? And then Intuit's given us some suggestions for this onboard. You meet with them and sign the contract, you gather documents, you create their new QBO. Beth didn't have one, so we need to set that up. Company information, import lists. I mean, they've got a long to-do list here. If there's something here like import lists you're not going to do, you could actually remove the task. Like, I'm not going to do that as far as this onboarding goes with the client. Maybe they're a conversion from desktop or something like that. And then if you want to add a task, I'm going to put convert from desktop. And And let's say that is, I want to get that done quick because this project, it put a lock on when I could schedule that because I put the project date there. Let's give ourselves a couple of weeks to get that done. All right. So now I can bump that out. I'm going to do the conversion on Friday. All right. So add the tasks. If you want to move the order of tasks, you certainly can. These this little grid of 6 dots, I can put my mouse over it and move it up to where I want it. And actually, I wouldn't set up the client company information first before converting because the conversion is going to actually wipe that out anyway. So we don't want to do that. It'll bring over the company information from desktop. Okay, so basically we have a new onboarding for Betty, or I'm sorry, Beth, and I'm going to hit save. And if I go back to my work tab, I now have a second project. If I ever want to edit the project, I can either click on the project itself to open it up or on a specific task. Again, with tasks, we can put in some details here, more information, which is kind of cool. All right, so that is your project. So the main thing I want to talk about in work area is I want you to do this setup business project, and we're going to get your work done first. Okay? So let's get over there and set one up, and we'll keep adding tasks as we go through the video. All right, that's the work section. Apps, we'll dig into that a little bit, but basically as you're setting up your business, you might come across something that's bottlenecking you, meaning I can't get from A to B because I'm doing a manual process. I would say one of the most common ones is scheduling. So you have a client who emails you and says, hey, I want to get an appointment, and then you go, okay, what times work for you? And you send an email back, and then they say, well, I could do 3, 5, and 6 on blah, 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 and then you get the email in, and then you email back. And it's like ping-ponging. It's a waste of your time. Find a calendar app. They're out there. You can do Calendly. You can do Acuity. I happen to use something called Honeybook, which is not only a scheduler, but it also does contracts and other things like that. So, you know, you could pick an app and search for it and connect it. So let's do scheduling. So we've got Acuity Scheduling, which is an appointment software or app. And you have to filter through this because some of these don't really apply. Like ClockShark is more of a time card, but Acuity is an actual calendar where you can book, you can have your calendar out there, and then they could schedule an appointment. They could even make a payment in Acuity, and then it pushes over to QuickBooks. So you got to think about what's holding you up. So as you're going through your processes and getting set up or doing things for clients, look for those things that are you're having to enter the data twice. Like it's getting entered here, and then you have to key it in manually here. Look for that. Start making a list, and then you can start working on finding apps that might automate things like that. Okay, so that's your practice. So with our practice, we have the client list, and our clients have QuickBooks Online. But what about us? Well, we also have it and more free stuff. This area that's called Your Books is actually Intuit giving you a free QuickBooks Online Advanced with a lot of nice features in here. The one thing I do want to point out, and I've had people ask me this in webinars before, hey, can I use this free QuickBooks Online Advanced for a client? And the answer is absolutely not. And let me tell you why. Whenever you are in Your Books, and let's say you go to the Sales Center and you do an invoice for somebody, and let's say I add that client name here, they're brand new, Joe's Bicycle, or Joe's Garage. I'm going to add that new client. Fix it here. Okay, Joe's Garage, my new client. I've just added them to the client list. I'm about to invoice them, right? Well, watch what happens. And I want to stay on my invoice here, so I'm going to show you guys a little trick. Go up to the browser tab. This is the actual browser tab in Chrome. Right-click and duplicate. Some of you may remember this from the certification training. This is a way to open a second window in QuickBooks Online. So my invoice is opening up again, but what I want to see, and I'll close this invoice because I have it open here still. What I want to do is look here. Back, I have a new client here. I was in my sales center for my firm's books to enter that add to my client list, and here it is automatically on the client list here. So the client list in the sales center in QBO for your firm is identical to the client list for your practice. There's your reason to not share this with a client and have them use your books, because guess what? They're going to get access to all your tools, they're going to get access to your client list, and this is not a right fit. So no, you cannot use your books for a client. You need to add them here on the list by clicking Add Client or getting invited to an existing QBO. All right, so that being said, I know you all have been through the certification training, so this is a full QuickBooks Online Advanced. However, there are several apps that come with QuickBooks Online Advanced. You do not get the apps. The apps like Fathom and Online Backup and Restore, those are for paid subscriptions only. But that's okay. I actually like to use Fathom, so I pay for it. It's not that expensive. I do want to also point out that in the Payroll Center, there is a free QuickBooks Elite Payroll for your firm. We didn't have to sign up for this. It is free. Elite Payroll includes, if you recall from your training, includes QuickBooks Time. So you can start tracking time on projects, because there is the full Project Center, tracking time on projects, etc. I want you to notice something here. How did this project get in my projects for my books? Because there's another link. Your work, if you go out to QBO Accountant, my work will actually, when it's a client, will actually duplicate in my firm's projects. And here it is. What's really cool about this is your client has projects in their QBO, but with ours, it has a connection with the work tab, which means I have tasks and due dates. Our clients don't get that. Only us accountants get the work area with the tasks and due dates with a corresponding project here. Why do I want the project here? Because here I can track profitability. So inside your books, the projects is about money in and money out. Did we make money on the project? In the work area, it's my to-do lists and what am I going to do to get that same project done. So that is a really cool add. So in the work area, the project becomes a to-do list. In your books, the project is about, did we make money? So if I use QuickBooks Time in conjunction with projects, I can also see how much time was spent on a project, and I can also calculate what that costs the firm. So there are payroll hours and time cards will load here. So I know that's a lot, but it's really cool that you know what's here, and that's the important part. Okay, so free your books for the firm. You can add team members that have access to your books if you want or not, but they can also be team members that are just client-facing as well. They just work here. Alrighty, so that is QBOA, the client, the your practice, and the your books. Anyway, those are my tips for getting your office set up. I think I have one more thing to show you. In your work area earlier, we were going to set up the business, and I said something about set up company settings. Well, why don't I show you where that is? I'm going to go to the gear in your firm, and I want to point out that when you go to the gear, when you are out in your practice, QBOA, out looking at client lists or whatever, this gear menu is your firm's books gear menu. So even though I'm not in the firm's books right now, this is all settings for your firm. So the one I really want you to look at is company settings. Once you're in here, you need to set up, if you do have a logo, put it in. Put in your accounting method, your employer ID if you have one. You might be self-employed, so you could put in your social, turn things on and off. There's notifications for emails. Do you want those? This is all about your firm's books, right? Do you want to customize your invoice? Set some of the expenses and other things for sales and expenses that you learned about in your certification. QuickBooks payments. If you have QuickBooks payments already, you can connect it. If you do not, if you are part of our circle of friends, you guys have special pricing through the QuickBooks Solution Provider program. I would not order it here. You need to order it through QuickBooks Solution Provider so you can get a kickback on the fees every month, because you'll be paying fees for credit card, any merchant service, but with QuickBooks payments ordered through your QSP, QuickBooks Solution Provider, you're going to get a rebate on your fees every month. So I would not do this. If you have questions, reach out in the Circle of Friends chat and we'll help you guys out. If you are watching this and you're not part of our Circle of Friends, we should have that conversation, because we can get you all kinds of really cool income opportunities that don't have your work involved. It's just about reselling QuickBooks products. And then, of course, the advanced tab. So you need to go through your company settings in Gear. And then again, if you're going to do custom fields and blah, 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 this is all your firm. So I wanted to make sure that you saw that. I also want to point out, let's say I just finished that step. I'm going to find my to-do. You know what? Let's filter it. I'm going to switch this to just the firm only. Here we go. Here's my 2 tasks for the firm. Set up company settings. Let's say I just finished all that. I'm going to mark this as done. And then if I need to add something else, I can. So now I need to write about me for the profile page. And there's my new one. Oh, due date. Let's get that done and save. All right, so I've got 1 of 3 firm tasks done for this project. All right, really important to set this up because I really want you to make yourself actionable to get these setup steps done. So everything I talked about, when you pause the video, maybe go over to your work and set up that next task in your setup business project. Okay. Any questions? You guys know where to find me, Erin at Bookkeeper's Friend. And good luck with setting up your practice, and I'll see you in the next video.